and see, because sometimes the radars keep switching, and we notice the O'Hare radar's out. So sometimes you might have a better visual of the, okay, yeah, look at that, moving towards 355. That was the area just near Addison. That's likely where the tornado is. So we can track it, JD, from, okay, so there's that notch right there, just south of Bloomingdale, moving off kind of parallel to Route 64, and then near US Highway 20, so approaching 290 near Elmhurst. So if you live in that area, Elmhurst, Addison, and just south of there, those are the spots that need to take shape. So let's time this out. Addison, momentarily, within the next 5 minutes, you've got the a tornado headed to your
the debris signature just
very
west of
strong.
Addison.
So just west of Addison, you need to be in your safe place immediately. Elmhurst, you'll be next within the next 10 minutes. So by 7:05 p.m., tornado overhead for you, and then crossing 290 from there, and then getting over towards Layden by 7:13 p.m., and then Oak Park by 7:20 p.m. here on the north side of Chicago.
All right, Warren, you got some new information?
We have a new picture to the Weather Channel right now. You guys have been talking about some of the funnel clouds that have been reported in tornadoes. And how about this right here? It kind of looks like almost like a reverse or an upside down pyramid here. That point goes down. So here in some of the western suburbs of Chicago, as these storms are approaching either downtown or just north of downtown, this certainly a sign of what we've been hearing in some of the reports that have been coming into the Weather Channel and here on Storm Center that we've been watching, kind of confirming that these storms have been rotating with funnels, and again, reports of damage as well with some of these storms. So this is a picture that just came into the Weather Channel right now. Guys, certainly does look like a pretty obvious funnel, at least a lowering, and that kind of cone look, that upside down pyramid look, gives you the sense that there's some rotation within this.
Yeah, it's hard to tell if there might be a little bit of condensation even beneath that I'm seeing.
I'm seeing that little blurry. That might just be some of the wind, debris, like dust, kind of dirt picking up with that rotation, kind of being sucked up in there.
Hard to say, but certainly something that makes you take shelter right away.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this, some visual look, representation of what the atmosphere is doing, but also what we've been seeing on radar with that tight rotation and the ongoing nature of the pattern of the severe thunderstorm warnings on reflectivity, really showing us signs that these storms are rotating with the potential of doing more of this.
All right, I want to get back to the radar right now. So let's, again, reset. Let's zoom out because there's a lot of tornado warnings. Chicago proper, look at that little cell approaching the lakeshore right there. That's likely at least producing somewhat of a funnel. But again, all of these out of the lake are dangerous, and we've got to track this threat even into northern Indiana. Once Chicago's done, that threat for tornadoes will continue east, but it does weaken somewhat. So we've got the main tornado warning that we're tracking right now. This is the tornado on the ground in Cook and DuPage counties near Bloomingdale, Elk Grove, and now east of Schaumburg. That was the one that we've been dealing with. It's towards Addison.
Yeah, there's actually two. It looks like two different areas of rotation are now developing. I'm getting more concerned about the one up towards Elk Grove Village and towards the Wooddale area, just to the east of Itasca. And it looks like we have another one also southwest of Addison. It looks like that rotation has broadened out a little bit, despite reports of a storm spotter just a few moments ago of a tornado on the ground over towards Glendale Heights. So it does look like maybe that is cycling a little bit. Let's hope that that's the best case scenario. But Elk Grove Village and Wooddale, Itasca, Bensonville, you need to be getting to your tornado safe place right now as that heads just south of Des Plaines and over towards Rosemont. Also, producer JD tells me that they're working on issuing a new tornado warning that's going to extend this farther east through Cook County that will take us all the way up towards the lake shore.
Okay, so that's going to bring Chicago back in play. So this is but they dropped all the other warnings north of the metro area.
Let's time this out because I think we should time that whole area, especially since we've seen some changes as to where the rotation has been, just so folks have a better idea. And I would say, JD, if possible, can we even expand that out a little bit and try and get Chicago proper and get the city in there too, so that people have a better idea of when it could be affecting downtown.
So that brings O'Hare in play, and I know O'Hare is under a shelter in place right now, so everyone at the airport is kind of just all huddled together in some of these safe areas at the airport. Oftentimes it's the bathroom, but there's more people than can fit in the bathroom. So you've got a lot of people taking shape. Obviously, no one is flying into or out of Chicago right now while there's the incoming threat for tornadoes. And again, these two areas circled on the map, those are the rotations. One with the tornado that was on the ground, could likely still be on the ground, maybe cycling through, but it also could re-intensify. So we don't want to focus on the exact tracks. We're just timing this entire path of this entire squall, essentially, this whole storm as it pushes over into Chicago. So Displays looking at an arrival time momentarily within the next few minutes. Norwood Park and areas near Schillings Park and Proviso, those areas within the next 10 minutes, and then getting towards the northwest side of Chicago and downtown Chicago within the next 20 to 30 minutes. So that gives you an idea of the timing based on your location to some of these spots on the map of when the areas of rotation and tornadoes will push through. Once that whole line clears you, the threat for tornadoes really is pretty much done for Chicago, but we got to get through this next batch, and it's very likely, as said, we're just waiting for the newest warning that will. Okay, so they said they just issued it for Cook County. It's just taking a little bit of longer time to populate on the graphic, but the newest tornado warning has come out, and it does include much of Cook County here, including parts of Chicago. So it includes downtown Chicago. So this scene, yet again, is going to look very different as these storms come barreling through. And these will likely be rain wrapped. There's a lot of rain out ahead of it. And, these tornadoes are changing every 10, 15 minutes. They're weakening and the new areas are strengthening. So it's not just like one long track tornado. It's multiple spin-ups that are producing twisters briefly.
And Chris, we'll show that tornado warning in a moment, but do you see here that little on the lower right-hand side of the screen on the right with the radar?
Oh yeah, this
that
right
little
here.
kidney bean one just offshore.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's the rain shaft, I think, associated right offshore to the right. If you look at the camera, it's right kind of in the top right corner. That little rain shaft. So you can see that big rain shaft offshore. And the little one that's just, there it goes. It's gotten even smaller now. But look how heavy that rain looks.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you see how heavy that rain looks just off to the right, under that big, bright white cloud. There's some very heavy rain. Now, that's nothing compared to what's coming with that tornado warned storm. That's a little bit of yellow on the radar, right?
Yeah.
That's a little yellow on the radar.
Well, you're talking about that rain shaft right there, man. That looks heavy. It's just, it's creating that storm right there.
Right, and, but then imagine, that's just a little bit of yellow and orange. Imagine what it's like to be in that red right now associated with that tornado warning.
Yeah, and look at that rain coming in towards Schiller Park, Proviso, and again, there's several areas of rotation up towards Displays, and then near 290, and also now building back towards Downers Grove, where that initial tornado warning we had about an hour ago.
It looks like a tornado is developing potentially over O'Hare at the moment.
Really?
We've got storm spotters that are now seeing that rotation over O'Hare. I know we've got a camera at Midway. Do we have an O'Hare camera too, guys, or not?
I don't think
all right,
we do.
we don't have one over O'Hare. So just a big heads up over O'Hare. If you happen to be at the airport, they do a good job of announcing things at the airport and show you where all those shelters are so that you can get into your tornado safe place now.
So there's the newest tornado warning. It has now populated. It's been issued for a few minutes now, but you're probably hearing the sirens going off. I know a lot of people are reporting that in downtown Chicago, all around the metro area. Shelter in place at O'Hare. Obviously, ground stops at both the big airports here in Chicago, and just a rough evening here with so many of these storms going tornado warned, and so impacting several different neighborhoods from the north side all the way down to the south side. And this threat is not over yet, and these storms could even tighten up more so as they approach the lakeshore and the heart of Chicago. So, JD, if you could really quickly again, let's take the radar full and let's time this line out again to keep up to date with the latest. This is observed, obviously, so tornado on the ground. That was the one now likely approaching I-90 and I-290 there to the west of downtown Chicago. So we'll time out this entire storm, but note that there are different areas of rotation and tornadoes embedded in this storm, so the timing may fluctuate, but it gives you an estimation on when the threat will be highest. So right now, this is coming through the 290 corridor right over O'Hare, Jack USA saying there's a tornado likely taking shape over O'Hare or starting to tighten up near there at the airport.
That was a media report.
Okay, so that was a media report there coming out over the airport, and then moving into Chicago within the next 20 minutes. So downtown Chicago, you got about 20 minutes before some of the worst of these storms push on through. If you live west of downtown, it's going to be earlier than that. And north, Evanston, we got to watch you because some of those storms near Des Plaines, they are really showing some concerning signs on the radar.
Rosemont, Park Ridge, Niles, you all need to be in your tornado safe place right now. That rotation just to the south and east of Des Plaines looks very strong. We can see the hook signature on the radar there. Velocity mode is showing some good rotation on that as well. And this is actually looks like it's been moving more east, but now it looks like it's a little bit more maybe just south of east of the direction that it's going.